Charles, you're very analytical and you look deeply into your investments. So what is it about our investments and our structure that gives you comfort as such an analytical person?
Nick, there's this old saying in business and perhaps in everything else generally, in investment being one of those, that there are no guarantees, in life or in business, there are no guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
But the structure, just how it's been formulated, in fact, I must say this is quite groundbreaking. I've never seen anything like what Opportunity Capital offers. It's really quite groundbreaking. It's a disruption to the norm of what we used to know as an investment, right? So for me, the different layers of securities that are actually embedded from a point where investment funds are received out to a point where they are being, deployed to actual projects, right? Gives a sense of that guarantee, much as there's no, as we said, in life there's nothing that has got guarantees, but it gives that sense of guarantees. Right. And from that standpoint, then you've got that maximum comfort to say, this is right, this, I feel comfortable, you can actually go for it.
You've owned a lot of property over your life, but over the last number of years, going back some time, we've spoken a bit about it, is you started offloading and selling quite a few of your assets.
Yes.
Thankfully putting some of that liquidity into our investments.
Yeah.
But what motivated that decision to start getting rid of some of your assets?
Nick, it was driven by quite a number of factors, but primarily it was really just to restructure our balance sheet. It was just basically just to try to improve our cash ratio in our balance sheet. That's the first part. And the second part basically was we had, those assets that necessarily did not fit our long-term strategic, perspective in terms of investment, right? So those are the two fundamental factors that we are basically trying to address, right?
Okay, so is property then, talking about real estate, is it still your favorite asset type? And if so, are there certain areas of the country that you prefer to be investing in at the moment?
Most definitely, Nick. Look, for me, real estate would forever be my number one consideration when it comes to investment. Everything else basically ranks whatever, secondary. Where to invest to, it's informed by quite a number of factors. But I think, for me, the dominant factor basically is an enabling infrastructure. You would invest, perhaps logically anybody would invest in any area where there's certainty of service delivery, the infrastructure is stable. For me, those are actually the elements that I'm looking at. It doesn't matter where it is, if it's in the Western Cape and a particular city in the Western Cape, that's basically where I actually look to put my money into. For me, it's basically just understanding those simple factors which actually attracts me as an investor.
So I know that you like to help people, you like to mentor people, you've got a lot of wisdom and advice to give to people. So what advice do you give to the young people out there when it comes to their investments and their approach to investing?
Yeah, get started as early as you can. I know for some young guys, always there will be an issue about just, the initial investment, it's not really that much. I don't know whether is it perhaps maybe subjective, because perhaps maybe I can afford a minimum investment of 100,000. But I'm saying consolidate, put everything together, get that first 100 rand, consolidate it, put it in, this is something that you'll never regret. And I think the biggest regret as a young guy would be when you look back at some point would be to say, had I actually acted much earlier and caught the bus much more earlier, I would have perhaps been in a much more better position. So that would be an advice that I would think I would.
Absolutely right. So get started. So on that note, as we are getting finished, I want to thank you for coming all the way down. I know you came on other business as well, but it's great to have you in the office. But sincerely, I want to thank you for being such a loyal investor, B, being someone who's got wisdom in the business space that I bounce things off every now and again. C, I'd like to thank you for being such a good person to deal with. The staff in the office love dealing with you. You're incredibly organized. You get things done. You're incredibly courteous. You're just a pleasure to work with. And I want to thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to the next 13 years as well.
Thank you so much, Nick. Much appreciated.